Now, the Baphomet sign, it is widely accepted by occult researchers that the figure of the Baphomet was of a great importance in the rituals of the Knights Templar. The first occurrence of the name Baphomet appeared in a 1098 letter by Crusaders. It was later adopted by Aleister Crowley, a British occultist who worshipped Satan. He used that to identify Luciferian worship. And Beyonce is wearing this on her clothing, on her ring finger, everywhere. And you can actually, and this sign is accepted as the occultist to recognize Satan worship. Even in the Church of Satan, Anton LaVey Church of Satan remains an influential occult order founded in 1966. The organization adopted the Baphomet sign to address who they worship. The symbol of the Baphomet, the official symbol of the Church of Satan, features the goat in a pentagram. And so we're going to look at this Chronicle, and we're going to understand the methods behind this madness and how people are so conditioned to accept this occult, satanic Luciferianism and saying that this is okay. How is this woman, how is this inspiration teaching our young daughters to sell their soul for popularity, revealing their body that God gave them as a temple to control the masses? The beauty of the body is what the devil used to destroy the first man. And he's using it today. And her talents and beauty is what the devil is using to condition the people to accept the new world agenda. And Beyonce is in the center, and she will be a spokeswoman for this new age movement. Welcome to Beyonce, Worship as a Goddess Exposed. I'd like to welcome you to part 3 of Beyonce, Worship as a Goddess Exposed. And so in part 2, people, I would advise you to go back to part 1 if you haven't seen part 1 yet. It's not always good to just jump into a series in the middle, because then, it's a lot of parts and a lot of things said that you missed. And if you follow my past projects on Chronicles, my Chronicles are all building blocks, and it brings you to the complete understanding that God will have you to know. But before the whole Chronicle is behind this Beyonce mask. If you see these people, the Bible says, wide is the way that leads to destruction, and many will go thereat. These people are being led by the devil people. And so in this Chronicle, we're showing that Beyonce is actually a Satanist. She worships Satan. And so these people bringing Satan into the church. You got all these Satanists like Snoop Dogg and all these cats here enter into the church, because what they're doing is bringing duality evil, Satanists in the church. So once that happened, hey, they'll be ready to accept the Antichrist. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this Chronicles of Part 3. Let's go.
Actually worship Beyonce. A San Francisco cathedral will hold a special Beyonce Mass. Grace Cathedral announced that it'll host a Mass devoted to Beyonce's music and to her accomplishments. This comes after the singer's popular performance at Coachella at the Arts Festival on Saturday night. Cathedral Reverend says Beyonce's music highlights the lives of the marginalized and the forgotten, especially Black females. Beyonce's Mass, if you're interested, is next Wednesday night.
Right here in plain sight, people. In plain sight. She said, I'm not late on this. I've just been speechless. Beyonce is the most inspiring person I've ever had the pleasure of worshiping. Then people will say, oh, she ain't meaning that. Yes, she did. Now let's look at some other things pertaining to Beyonce before we get to these people who came together with this Beyonce Mass.
Hello all, here we are with a random video, and in this video I will be talking about Beyonce famous and history making Coachella performance. If you follow my Instagram, I point out some of the hidden meanings and some of the props she used. So let's break it down. But before we go into that, let's first learn whom Nefertiti is. Well, she is an Egyptian queen. Renowned for her beauty, Nefertiti ruled alongside her husband, Pharaoh Akhenaten, during the mid-1300s BC. Nefertiti, whose name means a beautiful woman has come, was the queen of Egypt and wife of Pharaoh Akhenaten during the 14th century BC. She and her husband established the cult of Aten, the sun god, and promoted Egyptian artwork that was radically different from its predecessors. A bust of Nefertiti is one of the most iconic symbols of Egypt. Little is known about the origins of Nefertiti, but her legacy of beauty and power continue to intrigue scholars today. Her name is, and I already said her name was, but however, some evidence suggests that she hailed from the town Akhman and is the daughter or niece of a high official named Ai. Other theories have suggested that she was born in a foreign country, possibly Syria. The exact date when Nefertiti married Amenhotep III son, the future pharaoh of Amenhotep IV, is unknown. It is believed she was 15 years old when they wed, which may have been before Akhenaten assumed the throne. They apparently ruled together from 1353 to 1336 BC. I know the dates. Remember, they read from right to left, so okay. And had 6 daughters, with speculation that they may have also had a son. Their daughter, Ankh Cinnamon, would eventually marry her half-brother King Tut, the future ruler of Egypt. Artwork from the day depicts the couple and their daughters in an unusual naturalistic and individualistic style, more so than from earlier eras. The king and his head queen seem to be inseparable in reliefs, often shown riding in chariots together and even kissing in public. It has been stated that the couple may have had a genuine romantic connection, a dynamic not generally seen in depictions of ancient pharaohs. So now you have a brief summary of Nefertiti. So why Beyonce has this obsession with this Egyptian ruler? What are the comparisons between Nefertiti and she? Well, let's dive deeper. Okay, let's first start with the similarities of the two. If you put the two side by side, you will see that Beyonce does resemble Nefertiti a little. But Keep in mind, these were in the younger years of Nefertiti. She didn't look like this upon her dying, and from what I've studied, she never looked like this. Her image was slightly altered and improved for the bust and carvings and so on. You know, like the image of Cleopatra, which was totally altered and falsified and seriously embellished. History has said, and this is slightly getting off the subject, she, meaning Cleopatra, wasn't known for her looks, only for her power. Anyway, getting back to the point of this video. Okay, do note that the life of Nefertiti wasn't all peaches and cream. Her husband, Akhenaten, was always sleeping with his maids, servants, or whatever they called them then. He even had some kids outside of their marriage. But Nefertiti never acted upon it. She cared too much about the power and her kids. Well, at first. So with all of this being said, what can we say about why Beyonce wants to mimic and or raise the spirit of this late queen? Is it power and the endless adornment for all eternity? But you all have to understand, she always does this type of ritual before every world tour. The ritual to raise the spirits gives appreciation to their gods and asking them for their help. During Beyonce performances, she blatantly said it. The pyramid, the constant representation to the number 666, which we all know represents Lucifer, Satan, or whatever you want to call him. That she's covered up as the third ward. There is other ways to make the number 3, just saying. But we're not stupid. Although, with careful research, it seems she stole this layout and also some moves from a performance from the Dolls. But what she using it as goes a bit sinister, or does it? To understand the performance, we have to understand the ritual. Okay. First, you must have the same name and or image of the person whom spirit you want to raise and or trade places with, as you can see. Then you have to say a prayer or some kind of representation to the spirit you are trying to raise, which she blatantly did throughout the entire performances. Then you have to have someone to represent God and or impersonate God. You know, like a priest or something like that. Why? The reason is being held up in this way is so that the priest feature can perform a ritual to give back to the dead person his bodily or her bodily faculties, in which transforming them into a human form, hence Beyonce. You know, kind of like the latest movie, The Mummy, whereas Princess Amenemhat tries to summon God Set with her spells and using the dagger and the stone, which is a personal object to God Set. Yeah, like that. Then the ritual takes place. The praises, the wailing of the hands, the transformation is taking place. The spell is cast on the person, and all who watches that are weak-minded are spellbound. And they all kneel and or give praises to their new queen, hence Beyonce. As you saw, Beyonce did all of this. She has summoned the spiritual power of Nefertiti, and many other demons I'm sure will follow. Meaning that this On the Run tour will be like no other tour. They will be doing a lot of demonic and questionable things. The world will be under their spell. I mean, it's already happening. For example, even Wendy Williams gave praises to her, and anyone who ever watched her show, she has never spoken kindly about Beyonce. But, however, there's one catch. Nefertiti's fate wasn't always bleak. She died broken alone, well, slightly, after she left her husband, Akhenaten, whom erased her from all carvings in the kingdom and sent her away to live with relatives. One of her daughters were told to have been killed, and that was told to have been the last straw for her. Her life was falling apart. Their life was falling. The highest they risen were in turn the harder they had fallen. Will this be the fate as Beyonce and Jay-Z? Or will she become greedy and try to summon the spirits and or help of immortal gods and goddesses such as Goddess Isis or God Osiris and so on? We would know when she starts sporting the wings and ruby hat that Goddess Isis always wore. But do note, to summon spirits, you must always give some kind of sacrifice. So, what has Beyonce sacrificed? We already know she had sacrificed her many unborn babies in the past. But what about now? I guess we will see. But I believe she has sacrificed herself this time. There isn't any demons lurking and or possessing her temporarily or anything of the kind. She has given herself up completely. We will see this with her inhuman performances. Watch, I'm telling you, and keep me posted. Well, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and also don't forget to follow my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I post on them every day. Hope to see you out there. Love you all. Bye. Hey, there's more. Don't forget to check out and sign up for my website. You can get an inside look at unlisted videos and a sneak peek at my upcoming video script. You can also see the making of one of my videos. Even have a personal chat with me and much more. So become part of the Truth Show family. There is no fee, just donation. You can help me build and recruit more leaders and open more eyes. Oh, don't forget to follow me and or like me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you want to listen while working out or driving, listen to me on SoundCloud and Spreaker. All the links are below. Hope to see you all soon.